Now, Orlando Pirates and Al Ahly are set to clash in the headline match of the second round of the CAF Champions League. Both teams won their opening round of matches and will be looking to keep the momentum going at a sold-out Orlando Stadium in sweltering conditions this afternoon. Newzroom Afrika's Yolulwe Qoshe joins us now from Orlando Stadium. Yolulwe, just about 2 hours to go until kickoff. One knows as well that in the praise song for Orlando Pirates, you have the words "Abahluleki beat," meaning that they beat the champions of Egypt, Orlando Pirates. That was back in 1995. They're going to have to do it again if they're going to have to get to the final. What's the atmosphere like?
Well, a very good afternoon to you in Studio Arabile as well as to the viewers at home. It is not the most vibrant of atmospheres yet, with just 2 hours to go. Again, a concern. There's always been that call for South African fans to get to stadiums early, particularly when you know that it's going to be a sold-out affair, to avoid a stampede-like situation at the gates or a rush coming in after kickoff. So at the moment, I've just been hearing a few vuvuzelas outside here and there, which means that there are people in the vicinity. But to be fair, also, they probably are waiting for that 1 o'clock time where the gates do officially open. So maybe that is another cause, but I'll still be waiting or expecting to see people waiting at those gates to be allowed to be entering the particular stadium. But it is very, very hot conditions here, Arabile. I'm probably, grateful to be having this shade, which the players themselves won't be able to have. Once they go out onto that field, you can see the stage is already set for that particular game. But you know what, probably not a good idea for me to be wearing black today, Arabile. I should probably have asked the powers that be at home to give me some away kit for this particular occasion instead.
One thing's for sure, though, as well, is that in the sweltering heat, Al Ahly are used to this. They travel well. They've always been very competitive. We're talking about the team that has the highest number of Champions Leagues across Africa as well. Then, what is the anticipation with regards to how they will be affected by conditions as well in Orlando right now?
I mean, you sum them up pretty well. They are the club of the century, the biggest club when it comes to Africa. They always represent the continent. They are defending champions of this competition. So for you to have won the competition so many times, for you to be defending champions of the competition, it means that you know how to travel. It means that you know how to assert and adapt yourself to certain conditions away from home. But that does not mean that it becomes any less of a challenge when you're faced with those particular conditions on that particular match day, Arabile. So we've been hearing that the coach of the team, Marcel Coetzee, actually complained about this type of time for a kickoff. We do understand that in North Africa at the moment, where Egypt are based, it is currently winter. So they're experiencing contrasting conditions to what they will be facing when it is 3 o'clock and time for kickoff out there today. It is expected to be at 34 degrees, a sweltering peak for today, which is going to be a challenge for these players. It's a challenge because you need to now pace yourself as to when you do certain movements, when to go all out, and that can also affect you in terms of on the scoreboard. So that is one of the things that the coach and the players will have to work out, especially in their captain's run yesterday, to figure out what they can do to get themselves an efficient strategy when the weather is not quite on their side. But they will back themselves. They're a team very experienced on the continent, and they should be able to do the job. But it seems as if Pirates have learned from their rivals, Mamelodi Sundowns, who always play Al Ahly and any North African opposition at a 3 o'clock kickoff in our summertime. So there should be an advantage there. And also, we do speak about them being able to travel, Arabile, but in the last 15 trips to South Africa, they have not been able to record a victory. So it doesn't really matter whether you're the defending champions. For them, they have not been able to assert that dominance on South African soil. They've had 8 draws and 7 defeats on their travels to South Africa. So they'll be hoping to strategize and get something different for this particular occasion. But for Jose Riviera and his boys, they'll be looking at that particular statistic and saying, let's increase that statistic, let's work with our home conditions, let's work with our home field, and let's get a memorable victory here at home to give the Orlando Pirates team a second victory and a good standing in this group, because Al Ahly will always be the favorites in any group that they are in this CAF Champions League campaign.
Let's talk about form also going into this. I mean, historically, you've just made note of that record, but let's get going into this match as well. Then you've got some really great protagonists. We're talking about an Egyptian team and a South African team, and yet the main names are all going to be South African. You have Percy Tau coming home as well for what could be a really famous game for him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Percy Tau, look, he's in an interesting situation now. He's in a bit of a limbo with regards to his situation contractually with Al Ahly. It keeps changing every week. The timeline is actually, it makes for interesting reading. At one particular time, he was linked with moves to Europe. They tried to stop that and said, we want you to stay on the long term. There were talks of him getting the biggest package salary-wise on the African continent. And then next thing he knows, that contract has been revised. It's a lower figure. And then the conversation starts. And then, you know, the morale goes down a bit for Percy Tau. He's also been reported to have been at loggerheads with Marcel Coetzee, the coach, who previously had become his biggest ally at the club, the one that was advocating for them to keep him the most because he knows how key a player is to this particular Al Ahly side. But because of such issues, it seems like he's been affected on the field as well. He's become more of a peripheral figure for the Egyptian Giants this season. He finds himself coming off the bench a lot, not too much confidence being inspired in him. And to be fair, in his performances as well, is not really inspiring the confidence that screams Percy Tau, the guy that was a talisman for not only Al Ahly but for Bafana Bafana as well. He has come on from the bench. He started their last game against HBE, which was a draw in their home championship. So we're already hearing rumors as well coming into this week from Egyptian reports that he'll be starting on the bench for this game. He didn't impress when he was given the start last week Sunday in their domestic league campaign. So today he might be hoping to come on from the bench, remind the South African supporters and probably coach Hugo Broos as well that he is still a talisman that can help both Al Ahly and Bafana Bafana and try to get himself back into the national team reckoning. As you know, Bafana Bafana in very good nick at the moment, having qualified for the AFCON next year. So he'll be looking to make sure that he shows his true potential at home, to impress those at home, to remind them, listen, you've got the Relebogile Mofokeng, you've got the Apollos, but I'm still here and I want to show myself, and I'm also a very big player that knows how to win games on the continent.
Yolulwe, this is some trivia for you. I mean, were you even around and watching Orlando Pirates when Hassam Hassan was scoring for them way back in 96 and 97?
I do not want to reveal my age. I do not want to reveal my age, but I do understand that there was a victory in 1995. I was alive in 1995. That's the most historic moment that I know for Orlando Pirates in this particular competition, as they were the first South African team to win this CAF competition back in 1995. But for Hassam, hey, Aramile, I'll leave that to you. I might have to get onto my Google straight after that.
Don't worry, Chief. I'll give you the entire history. You know, if you want to, we'll even go all the way through to Mohammed Abu Trika, who was there, of course, not so long ago, the smiling assassin. Fantastic work. Wow. Thank you so much, Yolulwe. We'll continue to have this conversation as well throughout the afternoon, of course, catching up with things at Orlando Stadium there as Orlando Pirates take on Al Ahly in the second round there of CAF Champions League games then that are happening as well today. A significant game, of course, in the offing. We'll have results for you throughout the afternoon.